Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about daylight savings time. And some of you outside of the US may be thinking, why do I want to talk about daylight savings time? Really? Who cares? But I'm here to tell you that part of the reason I'm talking about it now is that I find that in the spring season, we all have periods of adjustment, whether it's because of weather or shifting sunlight, and whether or not your clocks get sprung ahead as they do here in the US, or they stay exactly the same. You may be feeling a little bit of, I don't know, discontentment or a feeling of uncertainty. And so I've got some great suggestions for you, things that you can do, easy recipes that you can use to get yourself through this period. Here's the other thing, true confessions. This YouTube video gets recorded live, as you know, at 8 a.m. during the winter months, which is a little bit early for me. And just on Saturday, we changed our clocks, we sprung ahead. And so now I get an extra hour of sleep. And so I'm a little bit, I don't know, more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. At least I want to hope that I am. So when we're talking about oils that we need for adjustment, we can be talking about a lot of different things. We can be talking about different recipes we can use, but I have to say there are actually a few things that I like best when I think about using essential oils during this period of adjustment. So daylight savings time, oils to help us adjust. Now, you may not have a period of adjustment right now, but you may have one at another time. And for whatever that time is, these are the oils for you. We've got, I want to, of course, say thank you to everyone who's on here. It is that time of year again when we have to adjust our clocks here in the US, and your body is exposed to a changing, you do have a circadian rhythm, but when you change your clock, it does upset your circadian rhythm a bit. The other thing that upsets your circadian rhythm is, of course, changes in sleep pattern. It can also be travel. So if you're a person who's traveling within time zones or across time zones, you may find that when you arrive at your destination, or perhaps when you return, you're just really not yourself. So these are your oils that are going to help you get through that time period. We also know that essential oils are wonderful for our emotions. So if this is a time that kind of makes you feel agitated or distressed, or sad in any way, essential oils are going to be an easy and quick way for you to kind of manage those emotions and ride out whatever little storm you're feeling and get to the other side. Essential oils, one of the things I love about essential oils is they are wonderful for families. As we know, the hypothalamus is the part of the brain that controls many of our bodily functions, and essential oils are easily absorbed through the olfactory system right into the brain. So even if we're just taking a quick sniff out of a bottle or putting a few drops in our hands, rubbing our hands together, and then gently cupping them over our nose and mouth to breathe in, we're getting that same transference of not only plant material, but that strong signal for our emotions and for our well-being that can easily be absorbed, as I said, through our olfactory system. We can reduce feelings of anxiety, elicit or produce a sense of calm. You may be able to drift off to sleep more easily. Common ways that people use oils, of course, are through diffusers, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment. One of the things I did want to bring up, and kind of fast and furious, is that there was recently a Wall Street Journal article talking about teen girls and that they are experiencing record levels of sadness, and they are actually at a higher risk of suicide than ever. I would encourage you to read the article, to get in touch with whoever you need to get in contact with, but our teen girls need our support, whether it's your own girl or it's a family member, extended family member. Make sure that your girls are getting the support they need. The CDC, the Center for Disease Control here in the US, has been collecting and analyzing data on the well-being of young people, really of all residents here in the United States, for more than 3 decades. And these data are a critical first step to revealing, understanding, and understanding emerging threats to our youth and to their health. I don't kid myself in thinking that this is just an isolated US problem. My gut feel is that coming out of the pandemic, there are many people that are feeling uncertain, maybe certain adults, Many adults are finding coping mechanisms that they hadn't found before, whether it's exercise or getting outdoors or other means of getting in contact with other people. But teens are particularly vulnerable, especially at that stage of life where they don't have that long view. Many adults don't have it either, but teens especially don't have the long view. So I want to make sure that we're looking at youth mental health, and we want to make sure that specifically experiences among our teens, teen girls, is really something that we are that we're focused on, especially as adults. So high school should be a time for trailblazing and not for trauma, but many girls in those high school, in those secondary school years, are having extreme stress, trying to get back into a routine, become integrated again. Their grades may have not been what they expected. Their friendships are not exactly what they expected. And many, I'm sure, adults, well-meaning and well-intended, are expecting them to just kind of pick up and move on as if nothing had happened. And we all know something really big did happen. So God bless our teens, and let's keep them in our hearts and in our prayers. And also let's really look at how do we help people. And I think we've got some suggestions here that we're going to help. The CDC basically said that nearly 3 out of 5 high school girls in the US who were surveyed reported feelings of persistent sadness or hopelessness in 2021, a roughly 60% increase over the past decade. So new research for that, we need to really help prevent that. And though high school girls and boys reported experiencing mental health challenges, girls reported record high levels of sexual violence, sadness, and suicide risk. So it's an important article and a really important topic for us to take a look at. Take a look at the New York Times article. We're going to have it linked below, and we'll also have it linked on our other social media pages. It is worthwhile reading, and if you're the mom or dad of a teen, or you're a grandma or grandpa of a teen, or an auntie or an uncle of a teen, look into it. This is our time to really help our teens. But we've got some remedies here, which is why I wanted to bring it out right in the beginning. And then let's talk about what exactly we can do. I've got 6 oils actually, which I think are wonderful for not only for teens, but for all of us. If you're trying to readjust and have better feelings, top on my hit parade is bergamot. It can signal to your body that it's time to hit the hay, as well as reducing anxiety and stress. This is one of my personal favorites because it is ingestible. So aromatic, topical, and internal for our bergamot. Some of you will be pronouncing it bergamot. Either one is completely correct. It is a delicate citrus plant. It requires certain climate to grow, usually at least the one that dōTERRA sources comes from Italy, and it is unique in its compounds in that it is extremely uplifting, maybe even more so than some of the others. For self-worth issues or sadness, I want you to apply it over your heart. For sleeplessness, inhaling it or diffusing it is a wonderful way of using your bergamot. For stress and agitation, you can apply it to the back of your neck, to the bottoms of your feet, or diffuse. You can diffuse it in a classroom, at work, or at home. And then you can put a few drops in warm water for a relaxing foot soak. Of course, that works wonderfully in a full bath if you want to use some Epsom salts and some bergamot essential oil in a whole body bath, another way to really detoxify and relax our bodies. It has its top properties for this particular oil. I'm going to talk a little bit about top properties in this presentation because I think it's particularly important. It's a neurotonic, it is an antidepressant, and it is anti-inflammatory. All of the things that are important for us. Now, sometimes when we're feeling sad, we eat or drink things that are going to cause inflammation in the body, which exacerbates our feelings or our problem with this particular issue. If we're very inflamed, maybe your rings are feeling tight or your clothes are feeling tight, you want to use something that's going to be an anti-inflammatory, and bergamot is a wonderful oil for you. This particular oil is also found in dōTERRA's Hope Roll-On, in Whisper, and in Claricalm, all of which you know are meant to kind of relax the body and the mind. So use your bergamot if you have it. If you don't have it, grab a bottle and look for those other 3 products as well. Next on my hip of my favorites for adjusting, for kind of releasing mental and emotional distress is neroli. Now, you may know that neroli is actually a single tree called the bitter orange tree. And from that tree, 3 different essential oils are distilled. Number 1 is the bitter orange. That's actually the fruit from which we get orange oil, of course, not the orange oil from dōTERRA, the one that we get in the bottle. That's a different genus or different species, but bitter orange oil, which is sometimes added into perfumes and that we often add into other formulations that we have. Second is petitgrain, which we talked about last week, which comes from the leaves. You can see the leaves here in the photograph. And then third is neroli, and that comes from the flowers. Petitgrain comes from the leaves and the twigs, but the petitgrain, the neroli only comes from the flower. Extremely delicate flower, not so easy to harvest. So we really have to value our neroli and use it generously, but understand that it's something that is precious and therefore very useful when we're talking about mental and emotional health. So neroli can promote relaxation, it can uplift our mood, it can reduce feelings of anxiousness and promote just kind of overall well-being. One of the things I love about neroli is it is safe to use around pregnant women. And this was something that Dr. Hill talked a lot about. You want to use that essential oil if you're mom who's in her kind of right before delivery is just feeling very anxious. It can actually be applied to the body. So if you're feeling unsettled or sad, maybe stressed out, you have elevated cortisol levels, try popping off the top, and you can diffuse some in a water-based diffuser. Don't gunk up your diffuser and then come and tell me. Use a water-based diffuser. You can also apply to the chest, to the solar plexus, the back of the neck, the temples, underneath the nose. You can calm down heart palpitations and help to regulate blood pressure using your neroli. You would apply it over the heart, back of the neck, the forehead, and the bottoms of the feet, the soles of the feet. And then for grief or shock, maybe irritation, anger, again, diffuse it, apply it across the forehead and over the heart. So this is something I'd want to apply over the heart, and I'd want to use it consistently throughout the day. One of the things that I love about neroli specifically is that it is a roll-on, so you can take it with you wherever you're going. It is totally portable. It can be used in a relaxing and aromatic massage. Applying it to the pulse points is always good. It really has a delightful floral smell, very, very rich, very delicate, but not weak, which is what I like. And then finally, using it over your chest. So the top properties for neroli are that it is an antidepressant. It is an aphrodisiac. If I were using it as an aphrodisiac, I would be applying it over the pubic bone for men and women. It is a cytophylactic, which I had to look up, which means that it protects the cells of an organism and increases leukocytes to fight infection. So very super worthwhile. It is regenerative. It is also sedative and warming. So when we talk about warming essential oils, we're talking about anyone who has difficulty with perhaps circulation, for feeling cool, very cool in their extremities. Use your neroli. You can apply it right to the hands and feet, or you can apply it to other parts of the body. Just as I said, as a perfume, it will work on the entire body. You don't have to just use it as a hand lotion. No, not necessary. The body is extremely smart, and it will pick up the sensation of the neroli on the body. And then last but not least, I just wanted to mention that neroli is found in adaptive. And while I'm not going to specifically talk about adaptive today, that is a whole system that I will encourage you, if you're feeling feelings of upset or discomfort or maladaptation, to really pick up your adaptive system. I know we've talked about it in the past, and use that on a consistent basis, your oil, your roll-on, and your capsules. Okay, next on the hit parade is Roman Chamomile. I'm talking about some oils today that I haven't spoken about in a while, and it's kind of my goal, if you will, to really just get, just bring out some of the unusual essential oils, or less common, or the ones that I don't talk about as much, so that we make sure that we're having a variety of voices, variety of essential oil voices in this conversation that we have every Monday. For Roman chamomile, we know that it has kind of a sweet floral aroma. It's also known for its calming effect on the body. It's another essential oil, which is great topically, internally, and aromatically. So you've got your bergamot and you've got your Roman chamomile that are both great. All three ways. Your other oils that I'm going to talk about today are usually either aromatic and topical only, but these two you can actually ingest. This is a flower that grows close to the ground, reaching only to about a foot in height. It's got that kind of wispy daisy-like flower and a gray-green leaf. It looks like a daisy. It smells more like an apple. If you were to come up to the plant, I sometimes have some growing in my backyard. I don't have any growing there now. And the plant has been nicknamed the plant's physician because of its positive effect on plants growing nearby. So grow a little bit of Roman chamomile and it can actually help your other plants in the region, in the vicinity, right? So again, with Roman chamomile, it's going to help you to regulate blood pressure, whether you want to apply that over your heart, the back of the neck, or take it in a capsule. If you have low serotonin or you feel like you have low serotonin, maybe a little bit of sadness, apply it under the nose, on the forehead, back of the neck, again, taking it in a capsule. For head discomfort, this is a big one. You may have a routine that you've kind of fallen into. Maybe it's taking deep blue capsules or copaiba, or maybe turmeric to reduce inflammation. All of those are wonderful. I'm going to challenge you to add some Roman chamomile into the mix because it is anti-inflammatory. It is going to help you with reducing head tension. The other thing I would encourage you to do is apply it over the liver. We also tend to carry a lot of toxins in our liver, and over time, we want to reduce the toxicity. Applying Roman chamomile over the liver can be a great one to do that. A great oil to do that. Also, for PMS or premenstrual syndrome, you would apply it directly to the area of discomfort. Mixing 1 or 2 drops in an herbal tea is a great way to take in your Roman chamomile. Again, diffusing or applying to the bottoms of the feet. It calms the body and the mind when used internally specifically, and also when diffused, and can help support a healthy immune system function, specifically when used internally. So top properties for Roman chamomile are actually that it is a sedative and it is an immunostimulant. So it's going to help to stimulate your immune system. Roman chamomile is also one of those essential oils, great for babies and children. Very gentle, extremely mild. I would absolutely apply it on the soles of the feet of a baby and then pop some socks on if you wanted to help them to kind of coast into a nice drowsy slumber. You could also diffuse in their room. I don't like to diffuse all night in a baby's room. I would diffuse for about an hour before you put them down for sleep. And then once they're in their bed, with the door closed, and the residual essential oil that's in there should be just enough for baby. You don't want to be diffusing something all night long with especially not a really tiny baby, right? Okay, so now I'm going to talk about 3 oils that we haven't talked about in the longest time. And I'm going to give you a new perspective on these oils because I'm thinking you might not have used these in exactly this way. You might not have seen these oils in a while, and you may be thinking, wait, why is she talking about these? But I'm going to tell you why. So number 1 on the hit parade is Anchor. And for those of you who don't know, this is part of the yoga collection, but all 3 oils can be purchased individually. This is called the steadying blend, and I think there's a reason for it. The oils in the steadying in Anchor are lavender, cedarwood, sandalwood, cinnamon, frankincense, black pepper, and patchouli. So it has a little bit of a spicy scent to it, right? In a base of fractionated coconut oil. And it's used to support your connection to yourself, perhaps to your community, for your emotional harmony and your innate wisdom. Now, many of you have either meditative or prayer practice. I would encourage you to use these 3 essential oils, the 3 that I'm going to mention, during that time, whether you're diffusing it or applying it directly to the body. These are not to be taken internally, so they are topical and and diffusing or inhalation only, right? You can apply it to the ankles or the base of the spine or the bottoms of the feet. It pairs well with a prayer or meditative practice, as I mentioned. Terrific for focus. Think of anchor, right? Focus. You can use it, though, anytime during the day, not just when you want to go to sleep or when you want to steady yourself. You can also apply it to the throat and the spine if you want to try to speak your truth, if you will. If you're feeling fearful or disconnected, maybe a little bit of resistance, you can inhale it and apply it over your heart. The primary benefit is that it encourages a steady foundation. So I like this blend. I like the way it smells. And I've brought the yoga blends into rotation. I know some of you are not practitioners of yoga, and that's okay. But I want to just mention that these 3 blends can be very effective to you, whether you are a yoga practitioner or not. Okay, next is our Arise blend. Arise is a blend of lemon, grapefruit, Siberian fir, osmanthus, and melissa in a fractionated coconut oil. It's going to smell kind of lemony and light, of citrusy, very fresh. It's ideal for focus during meditation or prayer. It can be applied topically to the skin or diffuse. I would also suggest, if this was something that you wanted to include in your regular rotation, you might consider some diffusing jewelry. So many of you may have tried diffusing jewelry, whether it's a small disc on a necklace or perhaps some sort of absorptive beads like lava beads, whether you wear them on your wrist or you carry them in your hand or you have them on your keychain. Each time that you touch those beads, it can be almost like worry beads if you want, or prayer beads or rosary beads, any of those types of things that you're going to be touching on a regular basis and releasing that fragrance, which is wonderful for your kind of release of tension and stress. This is called the Enlightening Blend. I don't know. I don't make up the names, but I love the Arise. Let's concentrate on the Arise part of this particular name. You want to set some maybe positive intentions for yourself and promote a sense of happiness and courage, right? So for uses, I would say for connectedness with myself, I want to get in touch with how am I feeling? How am I in my body? And with with God as you perceive him. I would say apply to the crown, right? And then the spine. And of course, always the heart. You can feel you want to be action oriented, to kind of manifest your feelings. We want to get up and go once we've had a time to actually pray or meditate. Again, applying to the ankles, the spine, and diffusing. And then finally, to feel that uplifted, courageous, empowered feeling, applying it to the forehead or the heart or the soles of the feet. You can pair it with a standing or walking meditation and prayer. So anchor, I would say, is more like a seated or lying down meditation or prayer. This is for your standing, right? Arise, your standing or walking meditation and prayer. And then primary benefits, I would say, is an uplifting environment for intentions of reaching high goals and maybe even your own self-improvement. Can I be a better person? How can I show up in a better way today and over the next few months, if you will, as I move into spring? What's my intention for myself? What am I bringing to the forefront? How can I be better, right? Many times I hear people who say, oh, I started a new job and they didn't like me, or they didn't do this, that, or the other thing for me. And I want to turn that on its head and think to myself, okay, how did I show up? What was I missing that I wasn't able to connect on this particular thing? New research, I just read this actually in Fortune magazine, that our skills or our intelligence usually are not the thing that help us to get ahead. What helps us to get ahead in life and in our jobs and in our careers is usually how well we get along with our boss. And I know that sounds crazy, and many of you are probably thinking, oh, it's a popularity contest. Folks, life is a popularity contest. Just get used to it. The better we get along with people, the more we accommodate others, the more friendly we are, the kinder we are, the better life we're going to have, and the more people are going to be drawn to us. I know my grandmother always used to say, you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, and lo and behold, it applies to many, many things in life. So use your Arise blend. I think it will help you. Next and finally in this collection is the Align blend, which is called the Centering blend. includes bergamot, coriander, marjoram, peppermint, geranium, basil, rose, and jasmine. This blend shows up to me as very light, but also a little floral. So you've got your spice, you've got your citrus, and now you've got your light floral. It is a steadying herbal aroma, if you will. It's you want to invite feelings of trust and resolution. Again, not to be taken internally, but can be applied or diffused. If you're feeling scattered or overwhelmed, you can apply it right here under the nose, on the forehead, or just inhale it to feel tranquil and focus. Also acceptance, right? Do we feel accepted in our society, with our groups, with our friends, or do we always feel like the outsider, right? Diffuse and apply over our heart. If you're feeling apathetic or low energy, again, over the heart. You can do this. I would suggest that a line would be wonderful for a kneeling meditation, whether you are doing a sort of prayer, if you will, whether you're kneeling on a carpet or on a kneeler in a place of worship or in your own home. That kneeling and talking to our creator or your higher being, I think, is a wonderful way to center yourself and to ground yourself anytime during your day. So the primary benefits for this particular blend, I would say, are inviting confidence and peace into your daily routine. I love these 3 essential oils individually, but more than that, I really like them as a set. The other thing that I like about, because they are a set, is that I think they can be very attractive as a gift. So do you know a young person who perhaps is struggling? Would this be something that you could oh, and I noticed some of the names are different here in this picture. Well, depending on what market you're in, they may have different names, but I think the names that I show you are the ones that are in the US. So anchor, you're thinking when you're doing a seated meditation. Also, if you're a yogi, you would do it maybe seated twist or any sort of seated meditation. For a line, you could be doing the warrior, the triangle, or the gate poses. And for a rise, you want to be lifting up your arms, maybe a side stretch or a half moon. All of those things where we're just kind of stretching out and opening up can be wonderful for these essential oils. So you want your anchor for feelings of completeness, calmness, and courage. Your align for harmony and calm progress. And then arise for feelings of happiness, clarity, and courage. So these are oils that, when we think about them, it's not the symptom, perhaps, or the distress is not as clearly delineated as, oh, I have a pain in my knee, or I have discomfort in my head. These are more diffused emotional types of worries that we may have, or concerns that we see in others. The other thing that I want to suggest to you is, if you are part of a family, you're not living all by yourself, diffuse in your environment so that everyone who lives in your immediate environment is affected by what the oils are. Now, I will tell you, these 3 essential oils, while they come in 5 milliliter bottles, they actually have fractionated coconut oil in them. So I wouldn't use them in direct diffusion like the bubble diffuser. You're going to clog up your diffuser, but I would use them in water-based for these 3. The others you can probably use, except maybe the Neroli, which also actually has the fractionated coconut oil. So just be mindful. Don't want you to gunk up your diffusers and then be mad. Okay, so now I have 6 quick reminders for you. How are you going to use your oils more diligently? How are you going to remind others to use them? And these 6 quick tips, you may be saying, I know how to use my oils, but do we really remind ourselves? And I want that little bell reminder to go off maybe in your head, or maybe for someone else as you're talking to a brand new person. How can I help them to use their essential oils? So number 1 is bring your water bottle with you. And we're going to have all of these links in the show notes and also on all of our social media. This is one of the reasons I like this glass bottle is that it has marked time reminders and is also leak proof and BPA free. Glass water bottles give us, actually, this one is giving you times to drink, which is kind of cool. If you get to a certain time of the day and you haven't gotten to the bottom, you're thinking, uh-oh, gotta get moving. This is a 32 ounce, which is about 1 liter bottle, which is just right. You could maybe even fill this 2 times during the day, depending on what your personal water requirements are. So number 1, carry your oils in a water bottle. Number 2, put your oils in your sleeping environment. You can spray them on your pillows. You can spray them on your bedding. I sometimes do this when we're ironing, spray it on the bedding or the pillows then, or you can have a small spray bottle right next to your bed that you put on your bed and spray down your bedding. You can spray your towels. I love a satin pillow because they say it doesn't crease your skin and it doesn't make your hair a big mess. So ladies, especially, I want to suggest a satin pillow for you. Whatever helps you to kind of rest and relax, that's the thing you want. But use your oils before bedtime, especially if you sleep with a partner and they don't love diffusers for whatever reason. Spraying down your bedding is a great way to go. Journal. Now, I cannot tell you how many times recently I have encouraged people to journal using a 3-minute journal or 5-minute journal or just any notebook. But getting in there on a daily basis and processing our thoughts and emotions, writing them down on a paper in a safe place where we don't have to, vomit up every bad feeling that we're feeling about everybody else. We sometimes need time to process our emotions, to mature in our emotions, and then think them through, whether it's a matter of time or a prayer or meditation, whatever it is that helps us to get through. I love this 3-minute positivity journal because it helps me actually come in contact with what are the good things that I'm feeling today? What are the good things that have happened to me? I know you've heard of gratitude journals, but this is what I wanted to bring up. So your water, your bedding, and also please journal. It is really, really important if you're not doing it already. And I actually had a young person recently say to me that she didn't like journaling because sometimes when she journaled, she would cry. And I said, actually, it's probably better to cry into a journal or a book than it is to be crying in your car or on the phone or in your office or your school or your bed, right? At least journaling allows you to process some of those feelings. And then maybe you're able to once they're processed a little bit, you may be able to bring them to someone else and then discuss them with another person. But use your journal. I think it's important. Number 4, Epsom salts. Now, I don't know why, but Sky Organics has actually changed their packaging. So whether it's the new or the old packaging, this is actually the same product. I love Epsom salts. I buy them in a giant size bag, but if you've never used them before, you may be thinking, why do I want that giant thing and what the heck am I going to use it for? Using about 250 milliliters up to, I would say, about 250 milliliters in a tub full of water with some essential oils can be an amazing way to detoxify and relax. I actually put a whole handful of Epsom salts in my hand, drop my essential oils right there on top of the salt, and then throw it in my bath underneath the water, let my hand rinse off. It is by far my favorite way to relax, whether it's after the gym or after a long day. Epsom salts, wonderful, and use your bath. Now, some of you may say, but I don't have a bath. I only have a shower. Yes, but I'm sure you have a tub where you can soak your feet. Use your soaking, right? Soak your feet, put them in that little basin, whatever it is. Everybody has a basin. If they don't, you can easily find one just about anywhere. Use your Epsom salts, put your essential oils in there. But don't forget, once you've soaked in essential oils, you want to make sure to drink water, because Epsom salts plus essential oils tend to bring toxins out of our body, out of our cells. You want to flush those away. So make sure you're drinking after you've had a bath with essential oils. Next, I want to remind you to carry your essential oils with you. Now, I loved this bag because not only is it cute and puffy, it's also washable. And I don't know about you, but I've had times where my essential oils have spilled and it has not been pretty. And they've spilled in something where I can't possibly wash it. I want to just remind you, bring your essential oils with you. This is a super fun, just I don't know, tear resistant, fluffy bag. You can throw this in the back of your car. You can carry it with you. It's also not too heavy. Don't want you to carry anything heavy and then damage your shoulder or your hands or your back, right? We want you to stay healthy, but carry your essential oils with you. And last but not least, I want to remind you to diffuse, and just stay calm in your home, in your office, wherever you are. You need your diffuser. Even in your car, they have tons of new car diffusers, but make sure you're diffusing on a regular basis. Use your essential oils. Allow the people in your environment to be affected by what you are using and also to uplift their mood. So I just want to say thank you so much for having been here. I hope that these suggestions are going to help you to make that transition, going to help you to reach out to other people that maybe need your help, especially young people. As you know, we're on all social media platforms. And we're going to be repeating some of these messages in the week ahead. Next week, I know we're going to be back and talking about some really interesting topics. Every week it's a little bit different. And we'd love to hear from you. If you have a topic specifically that you'd like to hear about, please let me know in the comments below. And thank you again for having been here. Have a wonderful week. So I hope for all of you that have been listening in that the suggestions today were helpful to you. Tried to talk about some oils that are a little bit unusual, right? That we don't usually get. Certainly the yoga collection I have not spoken about in a long while, but I think it's important for us to change it up and to kind of sprinkle new things in from time to time. Have a wonderful week, everyone. If you're live, stay on. If not, I'll see you back here next week. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.